Right, it's a kettlebell circuit this morning. Here's a list of the exercises we're doing. If you want to pause on recorded and practice each one and before moving on to the next, then please do so. Don't use the circuit to learn the exercises. I want you to get them in your head before it. By all means, practice and refine as the circuit goes on, but I want you to at least get a head start. So if you're not sure about one or you want to practice, hit the pause button. The first exercise we're going to do is a single arm alternating swing. It looks like this. I'm up. It's a single-handed kettlebell swing. It's still a swing with the hips, okay? We're still snapping those hips, but we're transitioning at eye level. That kettlebell becomes weightless for a split second, and all I'm doing is just sliding my hand across and slowing into the other one. So in theory, if you do it right, you're not letting go of the kettlebell at any point. You're just simply sliding across, but it has to be fast. If you hesitate, that's when you're going to make a mistake. If you make a mistake, don't cry about it. You're going to get better with practice, okay? Next exercise is a kettlebell burpee deadlift high pull. Boom, right, okay? Simple. It really is simple. Set yourself up for a kettlebell deadlift, feet nice and close to the kettlebell. I'm going to burpee out. I'm going to burpee in, trying to land my feet either side of the kettlebell. That's where I'm going to be more optimum. That's my body's center of gravity, bang over the kettlebell. From here, before I even think about it, if you're a bit new, make sure you're getting this bit right. Don't break it down into a squat. We're still keeping the hips higher than the knee joint, hip higher than the knee joint. So when you pull yourself in, you're going to feel the hamstrings and the glutes and the lower back to some degree contract. From here, push my feet into the ground, snap and pull. Okay, so it's a deadlift, high pull after the burpee. So it looks like this, in, out. Remember, power's coming from that hip snap, just like a kettlebell swing. Hip snap, the arms are directing the power with high elbows. Your arms aren't really doing that much work because all the power is generated where? Come on, people on live, I said boom, the hips, whoosh, smash them forward. Next exercise is a kettlebell snatch. Okay, I'm just going to show you from the side because then you can see what's happening with the hips. It's still a single arm swing. It's still a hip hinge. Snap it forwards. The only difference being, I'm pulling my elbow high and punching the sky. It can't be done slow because if you go slow, you're going to lose any power that you've generated. And unless your kettlebell weighs next to nothing, you'll not be able to get it up. If you cannot do that, as in your kettlebell is too heavy or it's an absolute shambles, you're going to do high pulls. High pulls instead, which is simply pulling back with that high elbow and punching. It's a single arm kettlebell swing movement, everybody. You see the pattern here? From a high pull, that's how we snatch. We pull it in and punch it up instead of punching it out. If you cannot do that, you're going to do a single arm kettlebell swing, one arm at a time, okay? Then we've got a renegade rows. Full press up position, hand, center mass, okay? It's support me, center on. Get my kettlebell, pull it up with a high elbow and down. Pull it up with high elbow and down. You should be keeping the core solid. Your feet, beginners, wide apart. As you get a bit more advanced and you can practice this during it, bring your feet in closer together. You'll struggle to keep your balance, which makes the core work harder, okay? You should not be lifting the torso to the side when you're rowing, and you should not be lifting those hips. If your kettlebell's heavy and you're struggling, keep struggling, okay? If you're really struggling to do a few reps, use it. As long as it's good form, you'll get stronger pretty quick. If you're losing form and it feels a mess, grab a bottle of water, grab a can of beans, use something with a little bit of weight on and build on it. Finally, we're doing a weighted glute bridge. Simple enough. Okay, I'm getting my weight, I'm putting it on the crease of my hips, I'm planting my feet nice and close to my bum, but I would say on the outer part of my bum. I tilt my pelvis, up I go, squeeze the butt, down. Drive through the feet, everyone, drive through the feet. And don't forget, we're trying to tilt that pelvis up. Right. Kettlebell complex format, everyone. We are starting in 30 seconds time. If you've got a fancy watch on and you want to keep it on, rotate it so the clock faces inside, otherwise it's going to get smashed up when you're doing your snatches, etc. Right, in 15 seconds, it's a classic complex, so it's a run through of 7 exercises, the ones I've just shown you, no rest in between. We're doing 30 seconds on each exercise, it's going to give you a chance to really work it, okay? Start thinking about picking up your kettlebell swings. Single arm, alternating swing, stand by, go. we're away. So remember, it might not be the nicest of movements to start with. If you're new to this, there may be hesitation, there may be mistakes, but again, it helps if you can see me, and that's why I'm standing side on, okay? I'm keeping my chest proud, I'm pushing my hips back, and I'm making that transition slick. I'm not trying to be fancy, I'm just simply slotting one arm over the other. Kettlebell burpee deadlifts, go. We're straight into it. Burpee out, burpee in, chest up, drive the feet, pull. Burpee out, burpee in, chest up. Remember, you're trying to drive the feet and snap the hips to get this kettlebell up. Get out of the mindset of picking it up off the ground. Next up, we're going into a snatch on the left arm, or a high pull, or a single arm swing. Strive to do the snatch if you're able to. Go for it. Ding dong, we're going. If you want to start off with a few kettlebell swings, by all means do so. Remember, to get this thing over your head, it's all from the hips. Use those big powerful muscles. If you're doing high pulls, it's exactly the same. If you're doing kettlebell swings, one arm, exactly the same movement pattern with the hips. 3 seconds, and we change arms. Change arms, go for it. You can change it with a swing. Slow it down. If you're feeling new to these movements, slow it down, okay? The only way you're going to learn is by getting it right. And that's it. Make sure you're keeping the hips nice and tight, you're keeping the core nice and tight. Renegade rows on the left arm. Go. Straight down. Hand in the center, left arm is rowing. Remember, you can keep the feet wide apart to start with. Start to bring them in closer if it feels manageable. Remember, core stays tight, butt stays tight. You're pulling that elbow high. You're keeping your body facing down the way. Do not lift the hips, okay? It's better that you fail than lift the hips. Change arms, go. You don't even need to move. So it's control with this one. Okay, you're trying not to lift the hips. You're trying not to tilt the body. Control the descent. If your kettlebell's heavy, try not to just do that. Up, down. Good. 5 more seconds. Weighted glute bridges. You ready? Go. Straight into them. 30 seconds now. Plant the feet. Tilt the pelvis. Now, after all those kettlebell swings, you might find that your butt cheeks are pretty tired, and that's not a bad thing. Keep working. This is your last exercise of this run through. Good work, everyone. Good, relax there. Walk around and catch your breath. Good. Right, I apologise, the volume was not up there. Right, so I want you to take 45 seconds rest, and then we're straight into the next round. This time you will hear the buzzer. Are we ready? 3, single arm, alternating swings, go. Straight into it, we're away. So remember, by all means struggle, but struggle safely. This transition, remember, it looks easy because I've been doing it a while. The biggest tip I'll give you, and I keep saying, don't try to be fancy. You get people doing this going, whoa. Whoa, but all that happens is you just end up getting pulled out of line. So keep it tight. Good. Kettlebell, burpee, deadlift, high pull. So you do a burpee, plant the feet, get the chest up, drive the feet, snap the hips and pull that thing towards your chin with high elbows. So if you actually look at this, it takes longer to tell you, or should I say it takes longer to say the exercise name than it does to do a rep. 3 seconds, we're on to the left hand for snatches. Okay, we're away. So if you want to start with single arm swings to get it going, then start a snatch. Remember with the snatch, the hips are still getting pulled back and snapped forward, but I want you to think about pulling that elbow high and punching the sky. High elbow, punch the sky. And you can see it just flows. Try to keep your chest square on. Good. And we change arms. Now again at home, you have to be the one calling the shots. If things don't feel right, make them feel right. Go to high pulls if the snatches don't feel good, as in you don't feel safe. But if you're just struggling, keep struggling because they are hard. They're very hard. That's why we keep doing them. Renegade rows on the left. Go. So I've got my right arm down, core nice and tight. Boom, there goes one. And remember, it has to be about control. You're keeping your chest facing directly down. Think about the belly button. It's facing directly down. Hips square and directly down. Do not let your body tilt. And do not let those hips rise. Really feel that core work. Change arms. You don't need to change position. You just need to walk over slightly. If you don't feel, if you're using a reasonable weight and you don't feel your core engage big time, when you lift that elbow, your elbows, sorry, not your elbows, your hips are too high, okay? Keep the core feeling tight. Weighted glute bridges in 5 seconds. Good, we're away. Let's make it happen. Plant the kettlebell and go. So I want you just to feel like your arms are there to prevent the kettlebell rolling down your body and hitting your face. I don't want you to take up any of the weight. Make sure you're getting up and you're really driving those feet into the ground. You're tilting the pelvis towards you and you're really squeezing those glutes at the top. Okay, I want you to really feel that pause and squeeze. Great work. Right, walk around. 60 seconds, okay? I won't do a dissipated act this time. I'll have to remember to mute the microphone for that section. Otherwise, you're going to hear a stream. Right, any questions? Okay, you've got 45 seconds. So if you've got anything to ask or say, do so now. Okay, right, so realize, remember, they're new exercises for a lot of people. They're complicated. If you're trying to do a snatch, okay, and your single arm kettlebell swing is guff, you need to do a single arm, you need this right. You need to be able to do that without thinking about it, because if you're still trying to think about the single arm swing, you're still trying to think about the hip snap, and you're trying to coordinate this arm, it becomes too much, okay? And all you end up doing is trying to rip this kettlebell up and it goes to pot. Right, single arm kettlebell swings, 3 seconds, we're straight into it. Go. So get yourself going, by all means, but I want you to keep thinking. Hip snap. Snap them forward as if you're trying to break your own hips. That's how much force you're giving it your all. But we squeeze the butt hard as we can together when we lock out, which stops us going any further, which stops us sagging that lower back, tilting the pelvis inwards. Okay, we're straight into kettlebell, burpee, deadlift, high pull, okay? Again, it's easier if you just do it. Burpee, deadlift, high pull. Deadlift, high pull. Good. Remember, the power for this high pull isn't really coming from the pull, it's coming from the hip snap in us driving those legs into the ground. Left arm snatches, go for it. And again, you can start off with a swing, high pull punch, and then on the way down, it's exactly the same as doing a single arm kettlebell swing. But because you're bringing it from height, there's going to be much more force acting on you on the way down. So you have to make sure that you're tight and you're catching this with your hamstrings and your core. Change arms when you're ready. Now in terms of balance with this one, people get thrown off. So think about your feet as well. Drive those toes into the ground. You see a lot of people doing snatches, especially rolling on their feet. Remember, we want them cemented to the floor. Drive the toes in. Create that arch. Create that stability. Renegade rows on the left. Go. So now I'm using a heavier kettlebell. So you can see I can still do them. I'm struggling, but I'm still managing to struggle with good form. If you're a mess, okay, the hips are coming up, you're tilting off to the side, that's a no-no. So even if you're struggling to do a few reps, change arms, that's fine. You're going to get stronger pretty quick, but only if you're doing it right. Otherwise, you're going to get injured. So don't worry if you're only getting 5, 6, 7 reps done, because your kettlebell's heavy and you're finding it real hard. You're going to get better, but it has to feel safe. Weighted glute bridges. Go for it. Let's get these done. Careful with the kettlebell. And remember, once you go, fine tune your setup. Keep making sure your feet are nice and close to your butt. And we should feel like we're driving through the feet, tilting the pelvis and squeezing that butt with a prominent pause at the top, engaging those glutes. Each time you do a rep, you'll probably need to reset your feet. You'll probably relax. Each time you do a rep, depending on your flow surface, etc., you might find that you just push yourself back a wee bit more. So after each rep, you'll see my feet coming off because I'm bringing them nice and close to my body again. Right, how are we feeling? Hopefully you're feeling good, and I can't harp on enough about it. If you're struggling with the exercises, as long as you're struggling and feeling safe, that's fine. So it's not enough, everyone. It's not enough just to practice these movements like every Monday when we're doing a kettlebell complex. You have to practice them and keep practicing them. Little and often. Break it down, just like everything I say, break it down into little manageable chunks and throw it into your day. But you don't want, it's not like mobility where you can just jump on a foam roller. You need to be warmed up, okay? You need to be fully warmed before especially start doing a snatch. So see at the end of a circuit at night time, if you're doing a circuit, either live or recorded, see when you've done it and you're feeling definitely warm, like say for now, that's a good time to pick up the kettlebell and just get a bit of practice in, okay? You need it. It's like trying to learn to drive. If you're having a driving lesson once a month, sure, you'll be able to pass your test eventually, but it's probably going to take a lot of time because each time you go back, alternative swings, let's go. That was a quick minute. Go. What, we're not done yet? Of course we're not done yet. What do you think this is? Holiday camp? Let's go. This is the last run through, everyone. Be safe, okay? If you're feeling tired and these aren't feeling too good, hold it with 2 hands, okay? I want you to resort to a double-handed swing, okay? So if you're really struggling, it's okay to struggle, but go for the one that feels right for you now. Because at this point, after all we've done, you might well be struggling a lot, and that's when it becomes dangerous. If you're struggling. Burpee, deadlift, high pull. Pick either a lighter kettlebell or pick an easier variation. Now everyone's going to be doing this one. But for the snatch, if you're real tired, go for a single arm swing. If you're really tired, go for a double-handed swing again. You have to be doing this sensibly. If you're at home struggling, realize that a lot of you have only got, say, a 12 kilo kettlebell. Let's go. left-handed snatch, or single arm swing, or high pull, or double-handed swing. Be sensible. If you're tired and you're hurting and your technique's going to pot, do not power through it. Yep. Yeah, I tell you to suck it up and power on and get a grip at the best of times. But not when it comes to weights and not when it comes to your technique going downhill. Do not power through change arms. Do not power through something that doesn't feel right, because you're going to hurt yourself. And if you hurt yourself with this stuff, chances are you're going to hurt yourself quite bad. And you're going to put yourself out of the game for quite some time. So be sensible. Listen to your body. Think about your movements. Catch those kettlebells on the way down. Don't let them pull you. Good. Renegade rows on the left. Remember, it's okay to struggle. It's okay to find it hard. It's okay to fail. This is a complicated circuit. A lot of complex and difficult movements. Now, especially if you've only got one kettlebell, you need to realise that. Trying to do a renegade row with a 12 or something like that, the first time you've ever done, that's pretty hardcore. Trying to learn a snatch is hard, very hard. Control, always. Form, perfect, always. Technique, spot on. Good. Glute bridges. Let's finish this one, everyone. This is the last exercise of today. Control, focus, think about the glutes. Mind, muscle connection. Remember, if you think about the glutes, focus your mind on the glutes, you'll work the glutes. Okay, I want you to walk around. That is us done, but as always, let's close it off with a summary. Okay, so I'm looking on live, and I'm sure it's the same at home. Unless you've been doing kettlebells a while, you're going to find these hard. There's no other way to learn a snatch other than to do it. So you need to understand, especially for those people who, when they're not good at something, they almost take it personal, because there's plenty of them out there, and I know I'm kind of like that. It's easy to watch someone do it and make it look almost easy, okay? And that's not me blowing my trumpet. I've been doing it a while, okay? I know these movements well, but I never stop thinking about them. I'm not just going around going, la-di-da-di-da. I've always got to consciously think, hip snap, hip snap, hip snap. Okay, that's something that we need to think about. There's always bits you just don't stop thinking about. And that's why I always say, if you're swanning in the gym and you feel like you know it all, and you're just firing through it without a care in the world because you think you're brilliant, you're not, you're going to hurt yourself, okay? We never stop thinking about key parts of the movement. Now, what we're doing here with these kettlebell movements is taking a lot of complex movement patterns and joining them together, okay? That demands coordination. Now, I hear it on a, well, not so much now because I don't see people face to face, but I hear it all the time, I'm not coordinated. Oh, my coordination's terrible. And that's a lot of piffle, because to get better at being coordinated, you have to repeat. The problem is people don't want to repeat, and they just say, oh, my coordination's terrible, oh, I'm not coordinated, oh, I'm so clumsy. You know, that really is piffle at its best, and it's not even a valid excuse. Okay, of course things aren't going to move well, you're going to need to practice. Always take the learning to drive analogy. You first started learning to drive, you struggled with the clutch and the accelerator thing, okay? Revving the hell out of the car to try and get it going. Over time, probably now, you don't even think about it unless, of course, you're one of those people with an automatic. Okay, yeah, how do you? So you don't really, but that's my point, okay? You built up that movement pattern in your head through repetition. Okay, over time, and then you're doing it without even thinking about it, but you're still driving. You're not, well, some people, again, drive with absolutely zero situational awareness, but for the most part, you're never driving along not thinking about something. You're always absorbing this environment, taking something in, thinking about things that you have to consciously do, like the indicators. That's not so much subconscious. But you get my point here, okay? We get better at things by repetition. It's like trying to learn a musical instrument. You don't just pick it up and go whack. There we go. You learn something, you make lots of mistakes, you press the wrong keys. Over time, repetition, you start doing it correctly. Realize this, but realize as well there's a big problem at home right now, is a lot of people have one kettlebell and that is it, okay? That's hard, okay? So that's why I have to keep putting in these, what's the word? Oh, scaling movements back, giving you easier options, because we can't do, if you've never done a snatch before and you find that your 12 kilo kettlebell hard on a single arm swing, you're going to find a snatch nigh on impossible. Not completely, but you're going to find it tough, okay? It always helps to have a lighter exercise, a lighter weight that you can learn the movement pattern, and then have a heavier one that you learn the technique, okay? Because you'll pick up a heavier one that you'll struggle to get up just going through the motions. You won't be able to just go, oh, suddenly you'll go, oh, and now you think, oh, well, now how do I get up? Snap my hips, okay, now I need to be powerful, and you'll start learning the technique involved. But that's the problem right now, okay? So I'm just saying that because I know some people will be finding these workouts maybe challenging or very thought out to the point where it doesn't flow like a workout, okay? Yeah, you can do your single arm swings, but then it comes to the snatches and you're hardly getting your heart rate up, you're hardly getting a sweat on because they're slow, they're deliberate, which they should be, and you're thinking about it a lot, which you should be. So realize that, and that's why I'm saying practice, practice, practice. Don't just wait till next Monday, okay? After a circuit tonight, tomorrow night, if you're doing it, practice, throw in a few sets, and each day you'll find yourself just getting that little bit better. You really will. You'll grow fast with kettlebells, and you'll grow out your kettlebells pretty quickly, okay? So that's why I'm saying with your Renegade rows, if you're struggling with the weight that you're using, but you're able to do 3, 4, maybe 5 reps over the space of the 30 seconds, that's fine. You're gonna find that next time you'll probably manage 10, okay? But if a lot of people default to the one that feels good, okay, feels easy, they're probably gonna keep in that comfort zone for a long time, okay? So it's sensible. It's just common sense. If it doesn't feel safe, if your form feels like it's going to pot, stop, okay? It doesn't matter about the workout. It doesn't matter. A lot of people just, I don't care if I get injured. It's all about finishing the workout. That's stupid, okay? You have to be sensible with this stuff, even more so when you're at home, you know, and you don't know quite what you're doing and you're still learning for yourself. You have to be safe,